Hello again, folks, and welcome to the show we call Off the Court. Welcome, I'm Paul Geigle, and each and every week we sit down here with head coach, varsity basketball coach, Wareham High School Vikings, Kevin Brogioli. Coach, good to see you again.
Good evening.
And we've got a couple of games to talk about, a couple of wins last week, bouncing back from the Orr defeat, a tough loss at Orr. And we went to Dighton Rehoboth on Tuesday night. And offensively, I know you were talking in the media that you would like to see the offense to start to crank it up a little better, especially that first quarter, which we always talk about, that the team seems to struggle in. And your senior forward, Andy White, pops in three quick three-pointers, and off and running you guys go in the first quarter there. I think you were pretty happy with the offense.
Yeah, he set the tone early for us. I thought actually that was probably our best all-around game of the year.
Really?
To date. I liked our offense, I liked our defense, and we executed our game plan very well.
Yeah, I think Andy got 15 in the first half, 25 total. Matt Griggs, after coming off a big 20-point game at Bishop Stang, he only got 2, but Matt is really asserting himself defensively for you guys, setting the tone back there.
Right, I think Matt's one of the best defensive players in Eastern Mass. He can cover, he has the ability to cover the other team's best player, and that's his focus. Anything we get from him offensively is kind of gravy, and he still works on his game, and he'll come through with other big games offensively this year, but it's the defense that we need primarily from him.
And we've talked about his large wingspan, and he can jump, and I know he being your best defensive player, you always want to put him on probably the opposing best
offensive player. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Matt, I think I've noticed from Matt up from last year too, his ball handling skills have improved. You know, not turning the ball over, and I think you guys have improved in that respect too. We're not seeing that many turnovers. I think one game we saw 12 in one half for both teams. So you're pleased with the
we're starting to make that progression that we need to make, but we're getting to that point of the season where we've got to iron out all that and get to a different level. Got to raise our game across the board, and we'll be tested this week.
And like I said, you guys got 25 points in the first quarter. I think that was your second best output in the first quarter this year. And third quarter here, I've got in my notes here that you had your best third quarter in the, this year so far, 22. You got 22 in the third quarter. I liked your defense when you guys started out in the second half in that one. You're pressing. I think you guys forced almost 4 straight turnovers. 3 out of 4 possessions for Dighton Rehoboth. They turned the ball over. I think 2 of them were the half-court violation variety that you guys got them on. And,
yeah, we knew what their press break was going to be, and so we changed our press a little bit. Normally we go full court pressure. We went 3/4 court pressure, and that helped us. It kind of played into their press break a little bit and helped us to get the steals and turnovers that we wanted.
Who's usually your third man coming up when you put that pressure on? When the two guards are coming up towards half court, and you confront them with 2, but who's that third guy that comes in, try to get that outlet pass?
Right, I mean, so we have the wingman basically on one side, who is Jovan. On the other side, it's Michael Labonte. Over the ball is Gary, and Derek's job is to steer them into one side or the other. Matt Griggs and then Andy White become like our steel men, and so they're the ones that are trying to catch that errant pass. It's the trap's job not to steal the ball, but to make them throw a bad pass, and the teammate's job to steal it, Andy or Matt.
Speaking of Derek Gary, he had his best game in a Wareham uniform. He got 11 points in that one. You know, a bunch of rebounds and running full court pressure, up and down. I mean, he's hustling all over the court.
He does. Derek's in good shape. He works very hard. He's kind of a defensive quarterback, talks a lot on defense to the teammates, and he's been a pleasant surprise so far this year. Yeah,
and he doesn't hurt you at the free throw line. So if he goes to the free throw line, he's got a nice touch at the free throw line. I think he's getting better at his putbacks when he gets that offensive rebound, and that's another little thing that was hurting you guys earlier. Is like you guys were getting some rebounds, but some of the putbacks you seem to be snake bitten, around the rim and out, and they're not falling for you. But I think you're getting better in that respect. The bench now is starting to come to fruition. Zay Fogy, of course, has been getting some time off the bench. He's been doing great, but Josh Onu I mean, he is really asserting himself. The last 2 games, the next game we're going to talk about too, he had a good game offensively, but he's banging the boards for you, giving you some muscle underneath.
Right, and that's what we need him to do. He needs to be our backup post right now to Derek. He needs to bring in some physicality, and I keep telling him his main objective is to get defensive rebounds, defensive rebound, and that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, and like I said, he surprised you with some offense in the game. The next game, okay, that game, we win 71-44, big win for you. And then Friday night we come home to Seekonk, the Seekonk Warriors. And what were you looking for from Coach, what's his name?
Reddington?
Yeah, Joe Reddington. Yeah, so what does he usually run? The slow half-court
No,
game?
Seekonk likes to try to go. They
run?
normally try to go up and down.
Right.
We've had luck in the past running our fast break against Seekonk. I don't know, their defense sometimes leaves some lanes open, and we want to try to take advantage of that. I was worried about a little bit of a letdown, about the kids maybe not taking that game as seriously as they could have or should have. So I don't think it was really a pretty game, but it was never really in question either. I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, you had another a big first quarter, 25 again. So you put together 2 big first quarters offensively, and that's good. And then 22 points in the second quarter, and then you went in at halftime with an 11-point lead, 47-36. Finally, you won by 30. But bench here, the bench, 19 points was it? No, that was in the other game. Yeah, the bench had 19 in the Dighton-Rehoboth game, but your bench poured in another bunch of points here too, 5, 10, 15, 17 points. Fogarty, Onu, Jay Sean Morgan had a bucket, I think. But Mark Perot, there's the other guy I wanted to talk about, the senior transfer back from Stoughton. Mark finally helped you offensively. He got 5 points out there.
Mark's been working hard in practice. He hasn't had maybe the production that he's was hoping to have, but his minutes, the one good thing about playing a team like Seekonk, you can get some time for some of the reserves to get in there and get some game experience, because there's no substitute for that.
Yeah.
Some of the tighter games, they haven't been able to get as much time, which is why they don't score as many points.
Right.
So they need to build up their confidence, build up my confidence in them, and their teammates' confidence. And I think we have a lot of pieces, and we just have to figure out how to use them productively together.
Yeah, there's going to be some games you're going to need them when some of you guys are getting it fouled for you. Absolutely. And these guys that have been contributing, Fogarty, Onu, and now Mark Perot, been doing a great job, and the Marquise Silva is doing a great job as your third guard coming in to help out.
Marquise, another third guard that once again is primarily a defensive stopper, but he's quick, he's strong, and he continues to improve his game as well. Yeah,
and defensively in this one too, against Seekonk, you held Seekonk to single digits in the third and fourth quarter, 4 and 7, outstanding defense. So you need that.
Yeah, that was an area of emphasis at halftime. I wasn't happy that we gave up 36 points at the half.
Yeah.
And they focused more in the second half.
Yeah, they were kind of hanging around. I mean, 11 points at a halftime is really not that much.
Right.
So we 2 in a row, 3 and 1 in the conference, and
4 and 1. I think we're 4 and 1.
4 and 1 overall, 4 and 2, right? Yeah.
5 and 2 overall, 4 and 1 in the conference.
Okay, wrong again in my stats. We got a big game here tomorrow night. Bourne High School, and Bourne just lost a tough one. Not really a tough one. They got beat pretty good by Greater New Bedford Voc the other night, and
which was a bit of an upset, I thought.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, Boomer's a good coach, but Bourne, you would figure, would definitely have the advantage with those 3 talented kids they got. Jacob Ashworth, the sophomore point guard, the 2 forward sophomores who played last year, Chris Davis and Parker Friedman. And they got the big man Connor Schaefer coming back. They have a freshman guard you mentioned to me last time.
Yes.
Yeah, and who is he?
His name escapes me at the moment.
I thought I had his name here too somewhere, but not Davis. But anyway, did you see him play?
My freshman coach saw him play, and we have some tape on him. So he's a steady guide for them. So they have pieces. They've got they're young, but they played a lot last year as freshmen. So they're not afraid of the varsity limelight.
Right, and they're still undefeated in the conference, so they got a big game coming up against Old Rochester, right? Yeah.
Who are we talking about now? Bourne?
Bourne?
Well, they lost to Volk, so they're not
Volk,
undefeated
so
in the
yeah,
conference anymore.
okay, so yeah, it's Old Rochester that's still undefeated
Right, OR is still undefeated
in the conference. So big game against Bourne. What kind of defense do you look for them to throw at you, usually, for Coach Ashworth?
They'll go some full court man pressure, full court zone pressure back to man-to-man.
Right.
I expect to see man-to-man from them most of the game.
Right, so it should be a good battle back and forth. I think the 2 games you had last year were pretty crazy. You know, full court,
right,
back and forth, back and forth.
And they're always tough games at Bourne. Bourne's
Yeah.
a tough gym to play in,
Yeah.
and we always seem to have very competitive games there.
It's a noisy gym, right? Yeah, and that, I think the one down in Bourne last year, Christian and I were talking about it. It was a very physical game. You know, they had the 2 Smith brothers there,
Yes.
and a lot of team fouls in that one. So a big one in Bourne, and you've got a possible milestone. You probably don't want to talk about it. You probably want to focus on the game more, but you've got 299 wins. Sometime this week, maybe, you're going to get it, Friday night, Saturday. So we'll talk about that when it comes,
If we
right?
take care of business,
Okay, yeah.
we'll take care of that too,
Right.
hopefully.
But this Friday night, we're going to be at home against Case.
Correct.
And Coach Plant, what do you expect from him and that one and his kids? I think they've only won 1 game.
Right. They've been struggling a little bit, although I guess they played Somerset pretty tough last
Yeah,
game.
it was a 3-point game, 65-62 earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
At Somerset.
I mean, they're quick, decent point guard. They're not very big, though.
No, that's Horowitz, right? I've
right.
seen him. I've been watching him since his sophomore year. He's a good scorer, and he killed you last year in one of the games. I think he poured in 17 and hit a big 3-pointer against you. So you got to watch him. They don't have too much height, do they?
They do not.
No,
They're
no.
kind of a small team.
You
so
match up good
hopefully
against them up
yeah,
front.
hopefully they won't hurt us in the size department. But
Right.
we just have to make sure we create the tempo and make it a fast game.
Right. In case Tim Plant's a good coach, and you expect a hard-fought game, and his kids won't quit. They shouldn't quit anyway. And then Saturday, 3 games this week. We're going to Spelman, which a place I've never been to yet. And I hear it's a very small gym.
Makes Bishop Stang look like a palace.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is it the same kind of a gym, the old traditional?
No stage at the end, but it's smaller.
Yeah.
It's smaller. It's a smaller court
Wow.
than Bishop Stang's.
Yeah, we got to get there early, Christian. I'm my producer. So I've seen them only in a scrimmage. You've already scouted them, so what do you see there?
They're a good team. They'll be one of the better teams in Division III South again this year. Defending state champions.
Yeah.
They bring that pedigree with them. They
Yeah.
have a couple of starters from last year's team that will still be back, but they have a new point guard, a transfer Reel from South Shore Boak,
Yeah.
who I think is their best player. But they're long, they're athletic. They look to push the tempo as well, and they'll play hard defense.
Yeah, they got that junior, the sophomore we saw last year as their, I think, a 5th or 6th man coming in, Nick George. Kid's like 6'3", he can jump to the roof. It's almost like he's 6'5", 6'6", the way he plays. So he's very athletic, and you're going to see him slash into the hoop a lot. And how are you going to be able to box that?
We're just going to have to match their physicality.
Yeah.
We're going to have to box them out, give good help defense, and not let that crazy small gym get to us.
Now, I think I heard one of the guys talking from Spelman at the scrimmage talking about, he actually was complaining that he thought they should run a lot more. So the game did you see, did they still play that half-court type of offense?
The game I saw, they looking to push the ball.
They were pushing it up. So they changed, Coach Perry changed it already. So,
right. So they look to score in transition.
Right. And the big guy you were talking about from last year, I think, is Colin Sullivan. I think he is a good player. I think I watched him in the scrimmage. He's one of their good players up front. So that's going to be a tough matchup up front.
There'll be a tough game there, especially up there first. And we'll be coming off a game at 7 o'clock, then playing at 2 o'clock the next day. So less than a 24-hour turnaround. But these kids are young, and hopefully they can handle that. The problem is we have a DECA competition, which is a distributive education club of America. It's a club here in the high school. Most of my team is part of that.
Here in Wareham?
No, well, it's a competition down the Cape for all of Eastern Massachusetts, and the whole team, girls team too, is going to be leaving Thursday morning at 7 a.m. So we have to practice Thursday before school because I won't have a team here because it's an overnight trip. So we have to practice Thursday before school. They're involved Thursday all day, all night. They come back Friday. So it's going to be a bit of a whirlwind weekend.
Gonna have to
I'm
use
a little apprehensive.
Going to have to use the bench.
Oh, I definitely going to have to use the bench.
Big rotation.
I hope to be able to use the bench Friday night in a very serious
Absolutely,
manner.
right.
That's the plan. It doesn't always work that way, but that is the plan.
Right. Okay. So that's going to be it for this week. And Coach, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully we can talk about number 300, hopefully. So again, you've been watching Off the Court, and Coach Brogioli, I'm Paul Geigle, and we'll see you again next time on the show we call Off the Court. Thanks for watching.